Truckers really are the backbone of this great country, hauling everything from coffee mugs to our very houses in which we live. These cowboys represent a truly American breed. And to help celebrate these road warriors, the Lucas Oil Company has dedicated a weekend to these big rigs at the Bristol Dragway in the Appalachian Mountains of Upper East Tennessee, highlighting every aspect of these 12 feet tall behemoths, from show to race, even to monster trucks, for young and old alike.
We're at Bristol Dragway, better known as Thunder Valley. This track is simply gorgeous. It's laid out literally between the mountains. When you run down through here, the sound echoes, and we are rocking and rolling. 1,320 feet of the coolest drag strip you'll find anywhere in the country. What are we going to be racing here today? Big trucks, courtesy of Lucas Oil and the Big Rig Nationals. We've got the big trucks that are going to be drag racing, plus we also have some show trucks we're going to feature for you. Just gorgeous stuff, and we have the truck rodeo. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But right now, we're going to go to drag racing and find out just what these big trucks have under the hood.
All right, Ken Stout, thank you very much. Ted Jones, Rick Carlson in the booth here with you. We'll get things started with bracket number 2. Joe Seaman Jr. from Eldridge, Missouri, and Thad Spinalazzi from Roaring Spring, Pennsylvania, a pair of Peterbilt diesels, Rick.
Well, the first one out there, a good lead. Reaction time, definitely. We have a lot of time as they go down the race course. Who's going to catch? He held it all the way through. Joe Seaman Jr., 17:15 on a 17:10.
Seaman's truck powered by a Cummins diesel, by the way. And now this next pair, Robbie Stiltner from Leicester, North Carolina, against Alan Bowles from Weaverville, North Carolina. 2 more Peterbilts powered by a Caterpillar diesel. Matter of fact, both of them Caterpillar diesels.
Well, Bowles out first. Stiltner going to try and catch him. Closing in. I don't think Bowles can hold it. Stiltner takes the win. Running to 21:17. Bowles just late off the line.
Before our next pair, let's check in once again with Ken Stout.
Another featured presentation here at the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals is the show truck area. You'll find some gorgeous vehicles here. Now, these are not purpose show trucks. These are all working class, and you will find some flaws if you look at them very, very closely. These guys are still making a living with them. But much to our surprise, we found a very special truck. We think you'll enjoy it.
Well, it took about a year and a half to get to this point. We bought the truck in 1999, and just one thing led to another, and everybody seemed to like the truck from one day to the next. And we put a little bit more chrome on it here and a little bit more chrome there, and never really had an intention on showing it. Just planned on just wanting a nice looking working truck. And I went to Louisville this year and won first place, grand prize of $30,000 in Louisville, Kentucky this year. So,
yeah, I would say that $30,000 just barely offset the time that you spend cleaning this truck, that you're not on the road making money with it.
Well, you got that right. It's I would venture to say it's pushing a $300,000 truck at this point.
Of course, that 550 horsepower Caterpillar that's residing underneath the hood is way cool, along with the 18-speed and the 355 gears. Way cool. If you're thinking 120 miles an hour, you're probably right there in the hunt. But let's face it, you don't have a truck unless you have air horns. And no, you can't have just regular air horns. You have to have a set, you got it, off of a locomotive. Coolest part of this truck.
All right, Ken Stout. Have about everything. We move on now with our bracket racing. John Nance, Blue Creek, Ohio, with a 3/4 scale semi-truck, and Matt Brown with a Peterbilt powered by Cummins engine. By the way, Nance's 3/4 truck powered by an International Harvester diesel.
And decided right there, a foul start for Matt Brown. So John Nance in that 3/4 scale International is going to be your winner. 23.90 at 25.17. He's going to have to take a look at that dial because he was over a second off if he wants to go much farther.
Well, he'll be facing Seaman in the next round. Tony Boston had the bye run. This coverage brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry. And by MacTools.com. Shop online today. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals. We're at the Bristol Dragway. Ted Jones, Rick Carlson, Ken Stout is in the pit area. And we're ready for some exhibition drag racing. Talk about smoky burnouts. Smoke in two ways, Rick.
Oh, these are purpose-built machines for nothing but drag racing. They aren't work trucks. That is about as good a burnout as you're going to see, both off the tires and out of the stacks.
Jeff Musselman, the Smith Transportation Company sponsored entry. Wow, listen to the crowd. They love it, and so does Ken Stout.
Here at the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals, we'll see plenty of working trucks, the guys that go out and drive the trucks up and down the street on a regular basis. But we're going to show you a couple of trucks that you don't see up and down the road. This is a Tornado 1 and Tornado 2, owned by Smith Transport. The Peterbilt here, driven by Galen Hoover. And the Peterbilt, well, actually it's a Kenworth, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, is driven by Jeff Musselman. A couple of very radical trucks. These are purpose-built trucks, and they're purposely built for drag racing.
We've taken the flat front end and put the nose on it from a Peterbilt, and the suspension's modified. We got recap slicks on it. They're Detroit diesels, Allison automatic transmissions. We have 4 turbos, 2 superchargers, and a lot of diesel fuel.
Now the turbo's in line, one's driving the other?
No, we have 3 cylinders into each turbo. They're singles.
And the blowers are before or after the turbos?
They are after the turbos.
And what type of gearing would you use in something like this?
We use a Rockwell rear end, 4:11 ratio.
Top end on the trucks would be?
About 130 mile per hour.
Really? So there's a lot of gear left in these things.
They have a lot of potential to get down in. Our goal is to the 11 range.
And Jeff, which truck do you drive?
I drive the cab over, Tornado 1.
Now, I'm guessing because of the size of that thing and the extra rear end, it's probably just a taste heavier, a little disadvantage. Do you try to put a light on Galen?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to get out of the hole a little quicker than he can.
Well, we'll find out right now. By the way, those are V12s. Did you check out the drag slicks, Rick?
4 on each truck. They are tall, and there are a bunch of them back there. Whoops, there we go. We either lost a piece of the hood or he tried to make it into a scoop as he went down the track.
By the way, that's Hoover. Looks like he'll be there first. 13-14. Check out the speed, 105 miles per hour. And the track safety crew will go get that scoop that blew off of Hoover's truck. Let's check in once again with Ken Stout.
Here at the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals, as you know, this is a multifaceted event. And one of the events that takes place here during the Nationals is what they call the truck rodeo. The truck rodeo gives the drivers a chance to show their expertise. Remember, they spend countless hours inside of these cabs, well over 100,000 miles a year, in a lot of different cases. Well, it gives these guys a true opportunity to come up here, get inside of a tractor trailer, and test their skills. Part of the competition is to see how close they can get the rear bumper to the first white line. They want to get it across the white line, but again, they don't want to go any farther than 18 inches past the white line. Then they want to place the rear bumper between the 2 hash marks. They want to center it right in the middle if possible. The next obstacle is to get past the blue barrel. You want to make a right-hand turn, which of course is the blind side of the truck. You want to get as close to the barrel as possible without touching it. And then finally, the last thing that they have to take care of is they'll pull out of the alley back, make a right-hand turn, and then they'll line up what is essentially just some baseballs sitting on a very small cup, but they want to get those baseballs right in the center of the truck. In other words, on the inside of the right front and left front, all the way back through the trailer axle, not touch any of the baseballs, and of course, that's a good score. That's pretty much the rodeo, and I promise you, it's a lot tougher than it looks.
Oh, you got that right, Ken Stout. Now, in addition to drag racing trucks, how about school buses? Stick around. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, let's go right now back to Ken Stout, who has another exhibition truck with a different engine arrangement.
Mike Goucher is the driver of our next featured truck, and this truck's been featured on ESPN a number of different times. In fact, the one time that comes to mind for me is at Pikes Peak when they're sliding this thing around the mountain. Well, they brought it out here to do a little bit of drag racing. The 1997 Kenworth T2000, and as all you big truck drivers know out there, they come with some pretty big power plants. Well, this one's equipped with a big power plant of its own. Has a nice big Cummins 600 inside of it. It's located right, well, I thought it was right here. What a beautiful truck, but I don't see any motor underneath the hood.
Well, that's because they're underneath the cab.
That's like a cab over.
Yeah, it sure is, with a hood on it.
And not only do you not have one, but dueling 600s in this thing.
Well, yeah, got two signature 600s with 6 turbos, 3,500 horsepower. You know what they say, one's good, two's better.
How much does this thing weigh? I mean, that extra engine must add a lot of weight.
Yeah, it does. It adds about 3,000 pounds to it. It weighs 23,000 pounds right now.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this truck could still be a street-driven truck, I mean, in terms of actually hauling a trailer.
Yeah, it could if you just put airlines on it and a light cord and everything. It's capable of hauling a load, yeah.
Now, what type of transmission are you utilizing?
We're running one World Allison automatic 6-speed.
And what type of rears?
Eaton, 411 gear ratio.
Of course, the turbos will grab your eyes in a second. Those exhaust pipes, well, they are phenomenal. Doug Roberts actually did all the header work and a lot of the plumbing work here for the turbos. Real famous tractor puller. Those guys make all kind of plumbing nightmares come true. Certainly a good guy to go to. Basically stock motors. The heads have been ported and polished, but stock camshaft and stock crankshaft inside of these power plants. They're connected one-to-one. One thing you might be interested in is that they actually run 180 out from each other. In other words, when cylinder number 1 in the front motor is up, cylinder number 1 in the rear motor is down. The chassis, it's all stock. It's been lowered 4 or 5 inches or so. And while the illusion may seem that the rear tires are a little bit smaller, they're really not. What happens is the fenders cover them up, and they appear to be a little bit shorter than what stock would be. It's an incredible truck. Wheelbase on it about 270 inches, pretty much what you'd find going up and down the road. This thing is truly amazing, and to think that he can get 23,000 pounds to go into 13 seconds on at 110 miles an hour, well, that's just mind-boggling.
He can't be serious. Not 13 seconds, though, with this thing. 2 6-cylinder diesel engines, front to back. You heard him talk about it, Rick, and look at the burnout he does.
It is. He's burning up all those tires. The Allison automatic, well, that is his burnout. Now he's going to back up and stage.
Look at the diesel dust coming out of that with the diesel exhaust right there. You can hear the tires spinning against the rubber on the starting line here. Mike Goucher running down right now on an exhibition pass. Let's see if he can do it. Goucher, yep, he does. 13.50. Look at the speed, Rick.
109 miles an hour, almost a perfect reaction time of 483.
Now let's go back to Ken Stout, who is with the man who helped make all this possible.
I've had the pleasure of working a number of motorsports events that have been titled and held by and held for Lucas Oil. But it's my first time to ever have the pleasure of meeting the president and CEO of Lucas Oil. And of course, we're talking about Forrest Lucas, who's standing right alongside. What a pleasure it is to have you here, sir.
Well, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a lot of fun.
Lucas Oil is heavily involved in motorsports, from NHRA to IHBA, unlimited boat racing. I mean, anywhere you go, we see Lucas Oil. We love you guys.
Well, thanks. You guys helped us make this company. You know, we love motorsports, and it's a way of letting the people know we got something special. We do have some really great products, but this is a trucking event, and the people who really help us make Lucas Oil are the truckers. That's where we started out. We started out making these products for our own use in our own trucks and started selling them through the truck stops. And most all these guys out here use our stuff. So the reason we're doing this is a tribute to these truckers. I got to go. We're about to race. Why don't you guys come along with us?
We'd love to go.
Come on in. Hop in. Hop in.
Let's go, everybody. Let's hop in the bus. No added pressure here. TV crew inside. We'll see what type of light he can cut.
Well, you know, his son is a very active drag racer with NHRA, Rick.
Well, let's see if the son could teach him anything. That would be Morgan Lucas. And lights come down, and a red light. Oh, no.
Diesel-powered school buses. Let's go for a ride.
Let's see, we got running anyhow.
Here we go, side by side. Hit the nitrous button, Forrest.
I don't even know how to turn the lights on. know you had the best boss.
Forrest, being the nice guy that he is, he let the channel lock bus go by. Well, it just shows what a true trooper he is.
Semifinals coming up next. Stay tuned, please. Back in Thunder Valley at Bristol, Tennessee, you're watching the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals.
In a world of big trucks, these things are gorgeous, but there's always some of those, well, that just want to be a big truck. They've got the heart, the soul, just not quite the size. Case in point, how about a 1959? Well, I know it says Peterbilt on it, but it's actually a Willis. Tell us your name.
My name is Robin Burleson from Newland, North Carolina.
Robin, where'd you find this thing? It's really pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. This belongs to Mike Aldridge of Mike Aldridge Trucking in Newland, North Carolina, and it's what you might call something you call a haul a half a load with.
Well, I noticed that you don't go anywhere by yourself. It looks like you have a co-driver as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. They say my boyfriend's a dog, but I'm kind of sweet to him.
So what do you think this thing really wants to be when it grows up?
It absolutely wants to be a Peterbilt when it grows up.
You know, they say old truckers never die. They just get a
Peterbilt.
a new Peterbilt. I don't know if that really holds true here for her. It's a great looking truck, though.
Thank you very much.
Trucks of every size, kind of description here. There's the big Peterbilt of Joe Seaman Jr. from Eldridge, Missouri. He'll be racing against John Nance.
John Nance, that 3/4 scale international harvester out of Blue Creek, Ohio. He's dialed at a 2390. Joe Seaman in the Peterbilt, a 1710. And Seaman couldn't even wait for the tree to come down. He is out of there.
Boy, it's a lot of pressure. That is a big spot, about 6 seconds. So for that reason, John Nance will advance to the final. You see him right here. Seaman has just shut it down. Nance down at 23.90. Hey, 24.85. Not bad for a new bracket racer. I'm sure this guy doesn't do this every day. And our next pair in the semifinals, Tony Boston and Robbie Stiltner.
Boston out of Lincoln, Maryland, his Freightliner. Stiltner out of Leicester, North Carolina, his Peterbilt.
A 400 Cummins for power in Tony Boston's rig, and a Caterpillar P model in Robbie Stiltner's rig.
And it's going to be reaction time advantage to Boston, and he holds it all the way through, running a 1678 on his 1565 dial.
So this will make a great final between Nance and Boston. How about a Ken Stout?
Boy, we have a perfect David and Goliath scenario here. John Nance lined up in the smaller truck, and Tony Boston in the big Freightliner. Now, Nance, this is his first time ever drag racing. He finds himself in the finals. He'll take on the big cab over, and we'll find out if Mr. Boston, once again, can go another round and win this race. Now, both of the reaction times in the last round were in the 7/10 area, so that should make for a real good drag race if they can both run the predicted number that they're going to dial in with. It's going to be a good one, but there's something you should know. Mr. Boston has to wait for 8 seconds because Nance has a much slower truck. Will he go red?
What a dial-in. This ESPN2 Speedworld coverage of the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals is being brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry, and by MacTools.com. Shop online today. Stay tuned. We've got finals next. It's finals time in Bristol, Tennessee. Finals, that is, of the Lucas Oil Big Rig Nationals. Ted Jones, Rick Carlson with you, and Ken Stout, who has an embarrassing problem.
Well, I heard these guys announce my name about 30 minutes ago. They were announcing for me, I think, to move my car. I can't find it anywhere, though. Ask Mark Cathell, one of the officials here at Bristol. Hey, Mark, I thought I'd ask you. I left my car right here, man, and I don't see it anywhere.
I had my guy announced 4 times. We were trying to get it moved. We're getting ready to run this show. I had to move it.
So you had it moved, so what's it like, you towed it?
Yeah, I towed it, and I had to pull it out of the way because I got monster trucks coming.
So let me ask you this. Where do you tow the cars when you tow them? Oh, good. That's my boss's car.
You do have problems, Ken Stout. All right, Big Rig Finals right here. John Nance, Blue Creek, Ohio. Tony Boston out of Maryland, a Freightliner and that 3/4 scaler. International Harvester Power against the Cummins Diesels. Let's see how they do on the tree.
John Nance out there first, and Tony Boston waiting, and he takes off sideways, spinning the tires, green lights on both sides. That 3/4 scale International is out there, and here comes that great big Freightliner. It's got to make up over 8 seconds.
The dial-in's 23.90, 15.65. John Nance pulls it out. 23.97 on a 23.90, 53 miles per hour. Just how close was it? That's not bad for truck drag racing.
Well, John, the reaction time slowed down a little bit, but the truck was right on the number. You ran very, very close to your dial-in. All that really matters, though, is that you get the win.
Yeah, I guess that's the important thing, but I would like to call it beginner's luck. Well, I really had no idea what I was doing out there.
It really your first drag race ever, correct?
That is correct, other than the illegal street racing, maybe, but no, this is the first time I've ever been on the track with it.
Pretty good for the first time. Now some monster trucks, the most popular trucks in all of motorsports, beginning with the Prowler. It's a Chevy driven by Dave Pizzo out of Brentwood, Tennessee, and his brother Alan will be driving the Predator, but they don't have Chevy engines in them.
They have 557 cubic inch supercharged alcohol burning Hemis behind them. And I said behind them in trucks also, not up front.
I've never seen monster trucks drag race without going over cars, and take a look at that. Wow, what a burnout.
And look at it. Whoa, a few puffs of smoke. All did not look well there.
Well, they staged up. They'll take the tree. Front ends come up in the air. All 4 wheels turning and burning.
Virtually identical reaction time, and it's the Predator. 6:27 to a 6:17 by the Prowler, but the Prowler was laid off the line by a couple fouls.
Boy, and in an 1/8 of a mile, that makes a big difference right here. A reminder to you, for all the latest news and notes from the world of motorsports, and for all the latest from NHRA, visit rpm.espn.com, keyword NHRA. Now, here at the Big Rig Nationals, they also had every kind of big rig. Well, there's one other kind. How about a jet truck, folks? Take a look right here at Speedy Wayne Bookheimer and a jet pickup truck.
He's got the jet pickup truck behind him. You will see the smoke and the flames, the burner pop. Got the wing on the back. That looks to me like a Ford Ranger pickup.
A mini pickup truck as he'll stage it up. Remember, they can't go backwards. He has to stage very carefully. He cannot back up because it is propulsion driven. No drive to the wheels. The wheels are just like wagon wheels. Let's see what he can do with it. Kicks in the afterburner. He's making a full 1/4 mile pass. Wayne Speedy Bookheimer, 747, 206 miles per hour. That'll be a wrap from Bristol, Tennessee. We leave you with the car-eating monster, Megasaurus. I'm Ted Jones for Rick Carlson and Ken Stout.